What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Elevated Spirits. It's Jazi, your host for today. Not your reader, at least not till later. So today's video is gonna be about challenge versus choice, right? So I'm gonna try to do this without getting distracted, because in my city it's like there be so much going on, especially on the weekends here at the beach. And so I get really distracted sometimes trying to record these videos and concentrate, because I'm like a tourist in my own city, not gonna lie. So we are gonna get into it, but I do want to share with you guys some of what goes on in my city and, you know, the dopeness, right? That dopeness. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on here, so I'll show you guys. So it's like always something happening, always something going on. Everybody's doing their thing. This is something new, at least for me. So yeah. I'm good, how are you? But yeah, so anywho, get into this video real fast. And so this kind of came up earlier, a few days ago actually, and it was something that I feel like many of us know, right? But we sometimes still struggle with. So I'm gonna get into a little bit more. I don't intend for it to be long, but I do want it to be informative from my perspective, right? That's kind of what this channel is about, is shifting the perspective, right? Helping us see things through a different lens, okay? So challenge versus choice. My mom had basically, her phone broke. I don't know how, but it just does this like loop thing where it basically like shuts off and restarts, and shuts off and restarts, right? And it kept killing the battery in doing that. And I even tried fixing it, doing like a soft little reset thing that I remember doing, because she's still part of the Android gang, right? And so it's funny how people passing me think I'm recording them and I'm not. But anyway, so yeah, basically she broke the phone, and I was trying to help her fix it. And basically it was kind of like, what came up for me in that moment with her was, you can choose to look at it as a challenge, or you can choose to see the benefit of it, right? So it was just basically like, we all have a choice, right? That's one of our superpowers as human beings, is we always have the power of choice to decide how we're gonna respond to things, what we're gonna do when it happens. Are we gonna respond, or are we gonna react, right? And, you know, and what came to me with that whole thing was, you know, I felt like it was a few things came to me, and it wasn't even my situation, right? But what came to me was, well, you know, it gives you a break from, you know, social media, from all the stimulation. It also helps me, for me, like I would have gratitude, right? Like, damn, like you realize like the things we take for granted, how much you miss them when you don't have them, how much you miss them when they're gone, right? So same thing about your challenging days, your challenges, right? You can choose to see it as a challenge, or you can choose, right? The choice, choose to see it as a bridge to something better, right? For me, I've learned to see the gratitude and the benefit in my challenges, right? So I can see how they're there to help me versus harm me, right? So what it showed me was, you know, when you choose to see things as a challenge, it typically makes it more difficult to bypass, right? It makes it more difficult to get through, to, you know, get to the next step, get to the next level, right? But when you choose to see instead the gratitude of it, or choose to ask yourself, how is this trying to help me right now? What is this trying to show me? What is this trying to teach me, right? You then put the power back in your hands, right? By giving yourself the choice on how you want to see it. Do you want to see it as a challenge? Do you want to see it as a problem? Or do you want to see it as a, you know, a bridge that's gapping, you know, like a bridge to gap from where you were to where you're trying to go, right? So, you know, and these are things when I come up with these, you know, these epiphanies or these downloads that Spirit gives me sometimes, and especially sometimes when it happens to be like the most random places and times, but I share those with her as well. And she's always like, oh, you always teach me something new, you know? So it gives me gratitude for being able to share it in that way. But in that same token, when I share them with her, that then turns into, oh, well, there goes my Moon Day mindset message, right? So that's what this is about. So shifting your perspective, to help get your week start off the right way, right? We all know that typically a lot of people hate Mondays, right? For the reason of thinking that, oh, it's Monday, therefore it's going to be challenging and I'm going to have all these things going on and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, is that really what Mondays are about, or is that what we decide to make it about, right? So again, it's choosing, to see the challenge or the choice, taking your power back in that way, right? Choosing to see the things that are difficult or seemingly so, that appear dark, appear bad, or appear wrong, choosing to see it in that light or in a better light, the light that I feel like is really intended, right? It just depends on your level of consciousness at that time when it happens. But again, that's a choice. That's the choice we have. So I just wanted to take this time to remind you that you always have a choice on how you respond, how you react, if you do either, right? Because there is a difference. But you also have the choice in how you look at things, your perspective, how you choose to see things. Do you see it as a challenge, or do you see it as a benefit? Do you see it as something trying to delay me or hold me back, or do you see it as it's trying to save me from something that I can't see ahead, right? So it's just, a shift in perspective, and that's like I said, what this channel is about. Shifting your perspective, see your challenges from a different and higher viewpoint, higher vantage point, higher light, right? So I challenge you, encourage you to, when you're feeling challenged today, or, at any point after you watch this video, take a step back, take a few moments and ask yourself, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? How can I have gratitude for this moment, right? How can I shift this moment from lack to abundance? How can I shift this from challenge to choice, from negative to positive, from uncomfortable to comfortable, right? You always have a choice in every moment. Even the decisions you don't make is a choice, right? So allowing yourself to see it from that perspective and how it's trying to help you and benefit you in that moment, right? Like, so for me, I'm learning as I keep, I'm always a student, as we all should be, but when you think you're done, life shows you you're really never done, right? So for me, when I go through these type of situations or these, moments that come up for me, it helps me in that moment. That's how I'm supposed to help someone else, right? So when I share these things, like with my mom or whoever I feel is in the vicinity or I'm, interacting with at that time, it then reminds me that, okay, you came with that. How can you help someone else with that? How can you share that? How can you use that to help someone else, who can't see it in that light, right? Because, people get really frustrated sometimes. We let, a lot of things are really up in the air right now. There's a lot of uncertainty going on, and I feel like a lot of it is, it's a choice. Do you choose to focus on that and let that be your point of focus for your whole day? Or do you choose to do your best to go through the flow with it and, let your energy, flow through it like water, right? And allow it to take you where you're trying to go. Allow it to show you what it's trying to show you in that moment, right? Allow the universe to shift your perspective and, enlighten you, raise your level of consciousness in that moment. That's how it happens. We don't have to necessarily ask to raise our consciousness. We don't have to necessarily ask to be woke and, I want to awaken. Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen right when you're ready for it, right on time, right? But this is how it happens. For me, at least from my perspective, this is how it happens moment to moment. Different experiences will shift your consciousness and essentially raise it. And it just kind of happens naturally on its own. And of course, it happens more so when you ask for it and you're aware of the situations that, are designed to do just that. Don't get mad about it. Do your best to, at least, not get upset. Take it in stride and realize that your challenges are trying to help you. They're trying to shift you. They're trying to break away old parts of you, or old paradigms, old thought systems, old processes that don't serve anymore. They're trying to break you away from that to take you to the next level. Sometimes we ask for certain things, have certain goals, and we wonder why it's not manifesting, but there's certain things that still need to break away first. And so these moments where it doesn't always seem relevant, right? It doesn't always seem like it's part of that, but it is. It really is. I'm learning that through my own experience, that certain experiences aren't going to always look how you think they should look. Certain lessons aren't going to always seem like they're relevant to a certain test, right? But they are. Like, you know, you wouldn't think that, oh, you know, me taking this geometry is going to help me later on when I'm, you know, building a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain things you won't expect to help you in other ways, but it does. Like for me, for example, one of my first like jobs right before I had my son, oh no, right after I had my son, was at Walmart, right? I was there for like, worked there for like 6 years before I became a supervisor and before I quit essentially. But my first position at Walmart was in the shoe department. So I didn't realize that working in the shoe department and learning how to organize and stack boxes and carry, like balance maybe 6, 7, 8 boxes on my hand at one time to put them on a high shelf because I was so short. I'm still so short, but you know, I didn't realize that how that helps me now when I go to organize my space or when I'm shopping, right? It helps me learning how to cashier and count tens of thousands of dollars, you know, in a day. Like, I didn't realize how those experiences are helping me now. You know, when it comes to building a business, when it comes to organizing, when it comes to shopping, it helps make it easier because I learned how to do those things somewhere else. It makes it easier for me now to utilize those experiences that I didn't think was relevant at all at the time. I'm using those now to help me and benefit me. Anyway, but it helps me now, like, use those skills to do something different. It helps me now to utilize those skills to, you know, essentially in everyday life. So my point in saying that is to say, you know, don't discount your experiences for what it may be teaching you. Even if you can't really see how it's helping you in the moment, take a mental note of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, jot it down if you have to. Make a voice recording if you have to, because you don't really know, maybe in the moment at that time when it happens, you don't know how it's going to help you later. You don't know how that experience or that challenge, that problem, right? Perceived problem. You don't know what that's going to do for you later. And I've learned personally that when I jump the gun and I get upset about something, and then later on when I see how it was really helping me or saving me from something or benefiting me in some way, I then get mad at myself. You know what I'm saying? So it taught me to be patient. Don't get mad so fast because you don't know how it's helping you. It could be, it may feel like it's not, and it may take a little bit longer for you to figure it out, but you know, I do my best now to not jump the gun and get so upset when something happens that feels bad, because I tend to get more upset after the fact when I see how the universe or my guides was trying to help me in that moment. I get upset with myself and I'm hard on myself. And for my Virgos, you know, even though signs don't really mean anything, but for me, in my experience being a Virgo, we're really hard on ourselves. We're really critical on ourselves. And so, you know, it makes it even more so when something like that happens. And I realize after the fact, like, damn, now I see why that happened. And then I get upset at myself. I wish I would have responded differently. I wish I would have, you know, not got so upset in that moment. I wish you know what I'm saying? The regret that sets in after the fact. So, you know, just do your best to see your challenges as a choice. You know, a choice to decide how you're going to respond, how you're going to view it. Is it a challenge, really? Or is it something that's trying to help you? Because you wouldn't have did it otherwise. You wouldn't have put the phone down otherwise had it not broke, right? You wouldn't have gave your mind that mental break that it's been asking for had it not broke, or had it not kept repeating. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in my mind, in this moment right now, that repetitive, how it kept shutting down and restarting and shutting down, restarting for me, like, because I take everything symbolically, or at least as much as I can, I feel like that's an easy sign, you know, about where something may be repeating itself, like a cycle. What cycle are you repeating that's trying to die, that keeps being restarted unknowingly? 1111 on the screen, okay? So, you know, and I'm gonna have to share that with her later now that came to me, you know, that it was like, damn, I didn't even think of that till right now, that's sometimes the symbology, that's sometimes the lesson that spirit is showing you. What are you doing repetitively that's trying to die, that you're refusing to let go of, right? And that's a choice. See it as a choice to shift your perspective of the challenge, or see it as a challenge, and then watch how it gets worse. So that's what I got. If you guys like this video, if you think it helped you in any kind of way, please share it with someone that you think you use it. Give it a thumbs up if you're feeling so called.